Hey guys, so this is the EPZ Q1 PRO in-ear monitor. Now previously on my channel, I had reviewed only one other EPZ in-ear monitor, which was the K5, and that was disappointing. I didn't like that. But the Q1 PRO is like a redemption story. It's done stuff, and the sound signature is something that I really think some will enjoy. Now it is not perfect, there are still some caveats to this, which I will explain in the review. So let's begin with the unboxing. So as you can see, it comes in a typical packaging, nothing too fancy. Inside the box, we get some paperwork, few pairs of different size silicone ear tips, a carrying pouch to carry these in-ear monitors in, the very high quality oxygen-free copper cable that has 2-pin connectors on one end and a 3.5mm audio jack on the other. And of course, you get the EPZ Q1 PRO in-ear monitors themselves. Now, as for the specs of the EPZ Q1 PRO, so these pack a single 10mm dynamic driver in each of the in-ear monitors, and they have an impedance of 32 ohms. So once again, these would be categorized as low impedance in-ear monitors, but if you want the best audio quality that these can produce, then I highly suggest that you do invest in a portable DAC. Nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that can power these and make sure that they perform to their full potential without leaving anything in the tank. And what you get is just the best audio quality possible. And as always, the DAC that I personally use will be linked in the description below. Alright, let's talk about the appearance and the build quality. Starting off with the appearance, the EPZ Q1 PRO is stunning. I love the faceplate design. It's supposed to be unique because these are supposedly hand painted. I don't know about that, but it looks really neat, the version I have with me here. Now, as for the build, it is all made of medical grade resin. It is really smooth, very high quality resin. It really takes up the contours of your ears, and I have tiny ears, but they were very comfortable, provided a very snug and ergonomic fit. And even for long listening sessions, I had no ear fatigue. Now, a quick note about the cable quality. Yes, it is very high quality and one of the better quality ones out there at this price point. And it is fairly tangle free, not completely, but it does a far better job than many others that tangle so easily but are priced much higher. So kudos to EPZ for giving us a very high quality cable. Alright, so with all of that out of the way, now let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. Now you guys know that I judge in-ear monitors based on how they produce the three major frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs or the treble response, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Alright, starting off with the highs or the treble response. The treble response is very bright and has a lot of sparkle. Now, detail retention for the most part is very good, but if you push the volume above 80%, it starts to get shouty and a bit tinny. Now, in general, the highs are very sharp, have a lot of clarity. So what happens is any instrument in the higher frequency range is produced or rendered with a lot of definition. However, once again, the sweet spot is that 80% volume. Anything above that and the instruments in this range, or anything that falls into the higher ultra high frequency range, starts to get harsh, almost a bit sibilant, and that isn't very pleasant for long listening sessions. So while the high frequencies are not the richest that I've heard, yet that sparkle makes it a very bright and fun rendition of the treble response. Next up, we have the mid frequencies where the vocals are. So the vocals are bright, upfront, and pack a lot of sharpness because of its emphasis on the upper mids. Now this is both a good and a bad thing depending on the listener's preference. What happens is male vocals, while packing a lot of clarity and sharpness, yet that emphasis on the upper mids may make it sound a bit shouty and hollow at really high volumes. What it lacks basically is the presence of the lower mids, because that would have added that warmth and depth which would have kind of mitigated this shoutiness at really high volumes. So that's the only thing that was missing. However, till about that 80% volume mark, I think it sounds its best, where it strikes a balance between packing a lot of clarity yet not sounding too thin or sharp. Now, instruments like guitars, they sounded very good. The strokes sounded very authentic, packed a lot of clarity and detail, and they were very well spaced out from one another as well, and didn't overlap with the vocal. So overall, the mid frequencies do a decent job till about that 80% volume limit. And finally, we get to the low end or the bass response. So the bass response on the Q1 PRO is evidently mid bass heavy, giving you a lot of that mid bass slam, but it is also quite capable of giving you the rumble of the sub lows. Honestly, the bass response kind of caught me off guard because I was surprised as to the amount of depth it had and the amount of kick it added to the track I was listening to. So it is one of the better ones. The bass has a decent texture and it's fast, and it adds a very satisfying punch or thickness to the track that you're listening to. Now the sub-low rumble, while not the most powerful that I've heard, yet its presence from time to time depending on the track is definitely going to surprise you with the amount of rumble that it can give you, adding to that immersiveness of the track. Now the soundstage on the Q1 Pro was moderately wide, not the widest, but it does a decent job with good imaging of the instruments in the track, and it may also be suitable for casual gamers. Alright, just to summarize, the EPZ Q1 Pro is a fun sounding IEM with an unapologetic V sound signature. The sparkly highs, the bright vocals, and the punchy bass is going to cater to most casual listeners or typical music listeners, and maybe for some who enjoy that extra bit of sparkle and clarity in the vocals, they might enjoy this as well. However, for the asking price, I've definitely heard other in-ear monitors that are asking for a lesser price while offering a more all-round richer sound. But hey, I think I'm being a bit too harsh on the Q1 Pro. For a typical listener who enjoys a V sound signature and considering its appearance, its build quality, its comfort, I think you can definitely go for the EPZ Q1 Pro without any worry. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the EPZ Q1 Pro in-ear monitor. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. As always, the link to this and many other in-ear monitors and audio accessories will be placed in the description. So I would really appreciate if you check those out and use those links to make your purchase. As always, you have my word, it will never ever cost you anything extra, but you guys will be helping me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. So thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video, and I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.